It is my pleasure to welcome you all to the second play, The Nutcracker. I'm going to be very brief about introduction about the presenters. We have Caroline Borderies. She's a French-born artist who's living in New York City, and her work often commissioned by the museum. When they have a special exhibition, they commission to create a play for her. So she's been presenting in a major art museums, including the Metropolitan Museum of Art and American Museum of Natural History and Bard Graduate Center for Decorative Art. And our second puppeteer, Suzanne Borderies, she's been assisting the production and presentation of a performance, shadow performance, since age 12, because she's the daughter of Caroline Borderies, and she's now working as an interior designer in New York City. And these two puppeteers are accompanied by an amazing pianist. She is Mirna Lekic, and she's a Bosnian-American pianist and also the faculty member at the Queensboro Community College. So you will hear amazing live piano music tonight. And also we have a live narrator, David McCorkle. He's a veteran Broadway performer who's been narrated so many different characters at the Caroline Borderies performance. So I have no doubt that you will enjoy so much tonight's performance. And after the performance, again, we'll invite everyone to the backstage to show the magic behind the scene. So enjoy the show, and this is our last culture program, but we'll be back in spring 2023 with the array of culture programs. So I hope that everyone come back to the Wang Center. Thank you.
Do you have a favorite toy? Have you ever wished that it came to life? Did you ever dream of all the wonderful adventures you could share with your special toy? Well, you're not the only ones. Nearly 200 years ago, E.T.A. Hoffmann wrote a story called The Nutcracker and the Mouse King. The story is about a little girl and her beloved wooden nutcracker. The tale charmed generations of readers, including French writer Alexandre Dumas, Russian composer Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky, and the choreographer Lev Ivanov. Based on Dumas' rewriting of the story, Tchaikovsky and Ivanov created a ballet, The Nutcracker. This ballet was first performed in St. Petersburg in 1892, and since then it has become a classic performed throughout the world during the holiday season. Now, we invite you to enjoy your own version of this charming tale. And remember, as Herr Hoffmann wrote, the most wonderful and beautiful things are seen by those who have eyes to see them. It was Christmas Eve in the house of Dr. Stahlbaum. Like every year, Dr. Stahlbaum and his wife were getting ready for their big Christmas party. Their children, Clara and her little brother Fritz, were very excited, but were not allowed to enter the living room yet. All day long, they were waiting patiently in the hallway for the room to be ready for the guests to arrive. Carla and Fritz could only peek through the keyhole and imagine what Christmas gifts they would receive that night. The double doors opened at last, and Clara and Fritz joined their parents in the living room to welcome their guests. Like every year, the Christmas party was a big success with a lot of guests. But the one guest that Clara and all the children were impatiently waiting for was Herr Drosselmeyer. Why? Because Herr Drosselmeyer always brought the most magical gifts for the children. At 8 o'clock sharp, Herr Drosselmeyer finally arrived with a huge pile of gifts. Herr Drosselmeyer was also Clara's godfather. He was very clever and could fix any clock in the house. He also built the most incredible automata. Clara could not tell his age. He looked very old and very serious, but was very funny and sometimes could act like a child. He wore a big black patch on his left eye and the most extravagant wig to cover his bald head. Clara loved her godfather very much, and she secretly thought he was a sort of magician. The children got all excited and lined up to receive their gifts from him. Every child received a surprise gift. Fritz, Clara's brother, got a group of 10 soldiers to complete his already impressive collection. Then it was Clara's turn. "And now," said Drosselmeyer, "I kept the best from my little Clara. Here, my dear, this is for you." "Oh, godfather," said Clara, "how lovely. Who is that funny little guy?" "It's a nutcracker, my dear, a wooden nutcracker. He can break walnuts with his teeth. See, you open his mouth by pulling his braid." "Oh, thank you, godfather, thank you. I love him, I love him. I'll be very gentle to my little nutcracker." "Yes, my dear," said Drosselmeyer, "be gentle and love him, because if you love something very much, it is very much alive." Fritz, however, was very jealous and kept chasing Clara, shouting, "This is a toy for a boy! This is a toy for a boy! Give it to me! Let me hold it!" Fritz grabbed the nutcracker and dropped it on the floor. "Look what you did," cried Clara, picking up the toy. "You broke his teeth. You're so mean, my poor little nutcracker." "Do not worry, little Clara. I'll fix your nutcracker." Children, it's time to go to bed now. It's getting late, even for Christmas Eve. Say good night, and thank you, Herr Drosselmeyer. The whole house was finally asleep and quiet. It was cold and snowing outside, and the moon was high in the sky. At midnight, Clara suddenly woke up. Clara could see her godfather Drosselmeyer curiously seated on top of the clock. He was saying a strange riddle. Clocks, 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 ticking, no sound but cautious warning. The mouse's ears are very fine, soon rings out the deadly time. Clara was scared and shouted, "Godpapa, Godpapa, what are you doing up there? Please come down, you frighten me." But then more strange things happened. Before Clara's eyes, the Christmas tree began to bristle and grow taller and taller. Her Nutcracker also started to grow and was now her own size. All the toys, dolls, teeny soldiers, stuffed animals, and ginger men grew and became alive. Clara was mesmerized. But suddenly, she heard rustling and scuttling. Dozens of mice were rushing into the room. And they too were giant, almost as big as Clara. Behind them was an awful bigger mouse with 7 heads and a sword. It was the Mouse King, and he was shouting, "Get the sweets, get the sweets!" "Not so fast," said the Nutcracker. Brandishing a sword and leading an army of toys, the Nutcracker threw himself into the battle against the evil mice. Then, seeing that her Nutcracker was in danger, Clara threw her slipper on the Mouse King and hit him on the head. As if by magic, the Mouse King and all the mice instantly vanished. Instead of her beloved Nutcracker, standing before Clara was a handsome prince. "You saved me," he said, "not just from the Mouse King, but from a terrible curse too. I would have stayed a wooden Nutcracker forever if you had not risked your life for me. Now please, will you do me the honor of accompanying me to my kingdom in the land of sweets?" "Oh, yes," answered Clara, "I would love to. How do we get there?" "You'll see." "We are arriving at my castle," said the prince. Below is the Blueberry River, and this is the Sugar Plum Fairy who took care of my kingdom when I was cursed. "Welcome to the land of sweets and to the marzipan castle," said the fairy. The prince explained to the fairy how Clara saved him from the evil Mouse King and from the curse. The fairy said, "I have prepared some refreshments and a nice divertissement for you," said the Plum Fairy. "Please come inside the castle and sit on the sugar throne." "Now," said the fairy, "let's begin with the chocolate dance." And now, the coffee dance. And now, the tea dance. now, I have something a little bit different. Let's welcome our fiery Ukrainian dancers with their trepak dance. And for the very end, let me present you our delicious gingerbread men and their candy cane. My dear Clara, I would now like to invite you to stay with me forever in our delicious land of sweets and help me govern my kingdom. My dear Nutcracker Prince, I would have loved that so much, but you know, sadly, it's not possible. I have to go back home to my parents. Will I ever see you again? Asked Clara. But before she could answer, she was fast asleep on the back of the swan, flying right into the cotton candy clouds. My dear Clara, I'm afraid you overslept, said her mother. It's time to get up. Oh, Mother, I had the most wonderful dream. Or was it a dream? Everything seemed so real. My dear Nutcracker was alive. He fought with terrible mice and became a handsome prince who took me to an enchanted place. And Mr. Drosselmeyer was sitting on the clock and, oh dear, stop this nonsense and get ready instead. Herr Drosselmeyer did fix your Nutcracker when you were asleep, but you see, it's nothing but a wooden doll. Hurry up, get dressed now. And speaking of Herr Drosselmeyer, he's coming for lunch, and he's bringing his young nephew who is visiting from Nuremberg. He absolutely wants to meet you. I heard the young man is very handsome. Ah, my dear Drosselmeyer, how nice to see you, said Clara's mother. My Clara overslept a little bit and had the most strange dreams. Ah, my dear Clara, let me introduce you to my nephew, said Drosselmeyer. I have the impression that you already know him. Drosselmeyer smiled, gave a wink to Clara, and said, May your dreams come true, my little Clara. And remember, if you love something very much, it is always alive. Indeed, may Clara's dream come true, and may she live forever in the land of sweets with her handsome prince.